everyone, my name is Lara Fortner and I'm with Sociology 305 Section 2, and this is my stand-up 4 on my Fear of Crime survey. So discussing my survey, basically the goal of my survey was to examine the fear of crime amongst the Southeastern students on campus, and my study is particularly important because it examines how safe the student population feels on our campus. So by variate correlation, basically the goal is to understand the relationship between two variables. And here are some tables from my actual survey and my research. And this is a simple scatter of fear of crime by the safety feeling. And here's my ANOVA and coefficient table. And basically, to explain the findings from these tables, the cloud of dots on that scatter plot shows a negative relationship where safety feeling increases and the fear of crime goes down. So basically, along the x-axis, there is safety feeling, and the minimum value of this variation is -5, and the maximum is 16. And the y-axis contains the fear of crime variable where the minimum is -1 and the maximum is 18. So by looking at the scatter plot, the relationship looks negative because the cloud of dots shows a negative relationship where the safety feeling increases and the fear of crime goes down. The relationship looks weak and the scatter plot looks linear, even though there's an outlier because there are dots that somewhat fall along a line. Here are my bivariate correlation and regression hypothesis tests, and one shows a simple histogram of safety feeling, and the other one shows a simple histogram of fear of crime. So the findings on these tables, basically I did steps 1 through 4. So step 1 is the null hypothesis, is that there is no association between the overall safety feeling and fear of crime among the Southeastern population. And my alt is there is a negative association between the overall safety feeling and fear of crime among the SCLU student population. And step 2 is a lower tail test, and the significance level is 0.05. And step 3, the p-value equals 0. And basically step 4 is saying since the p-value is less than the significance level, we have evidence to conclude that there is a negative association between overall safety feeling and the fear of crime on our campus. And it has a constant variance between because there is no obvious fan-shaped pattern among those tables. So bivariate associations with categorical variables, correlation does not imply causation. That's the mantra. And it involves two variables, an independent variable measured on nominal or ordinal level, and dependent variable measured on the nominal or ordinal level. Tables involving gender identity, which is my independent variable, and the variable of being a victim of crime, which is my dependent variable. Here is a table basically showing those findings from my research. And according to this table, more non-females, which is 70.8%, responded that they were not ever a victim of crime, and only 29.2% said they were. Whereas 60% of females on the Southeastern campus answered that they were not victims of a crime, but 40% actually said that they had been victims of a crime previously. So steps for my chi-squared tests, which I put my table at the top here. Step 1 is the null, and the male population of Southeastern is independent of prior victimization in the Southeastern's population, and alt is the male population is associated with the prior victimization in the Southeastern population. And my step 2 is the significance level is 0.05. Step 3, using the association between two categorical variables, methods assuming independent samples and large samples, and involve two nominal or ordinal level variables, and the responses of the analytical units do not influence each other. In step 4, the p-value is 0.382, which I got from another table, and so we accept the null and reject the alt. And basically this is saying in step 5 that at the alpha level of 0.05, we have sufficient evidence to conclude that there is not statistically significant association between the variables of gender of students at Southeastern and prior victimization. So some further findings is based on this symmetric measure table, and basically based on the 0 is less than or equal to the variable, less than or equal to 1. Based on this number here, which is 0.109 Kramer's V, I would assume that there is a weak relationship between the two. So basically the importance of all this research is, I believe, the understanding of relationships and correlations to these various variables, and understanding the results of this survey could impact our campus. Understanding the statistics of how safe students feel at Southeastern, whether male or female or non-female, helps us further understand the fear of crime on our campus overall. Thank you.